This video will serve sort of as a part 2 continuation of my previous video, showing how you can use a palace tarp as a ground shelter. In this video I'll show you how to quickly take it down, which is just the reverse of the other video where I showed you how to put it up. You start with the corner stakes, pulling them out of the ground. Then you'll go to the center and pull out the shepherd hooks to release the one end of the tarp. Again, make sure you have a system for accounting for all your equipment. At this point, I will start to slide the snake skin back over the tarp to put it away. Again, reversing what I did in the beginning. Again, it takes a little bit of effort with the doors and the cordage and trying to get it snug, but you only have to go about halfway, and you do use the tension of the one end that's still staked down. Then I do the same thing at this end. I unhook my reflectic line, and then I pull the stakes. Releasing the tarp. That will now fall down because there's no tension on it. At this point, I throw the cords and lines and stakes into a pile, which is a mistake. Tried to save time on this video, and I'm going to pay for it later. You'll see that. I continue to try and roll the snake skin up, tuck it in so that I can slide that sleeve against it. Again, it will slide on a little bit easier because I do have tension. It's still staked at the one end and at the other end. So pulling it at an angle, I can get it to finally tuck away. It's definitely not as easy as doing it between two trees. Here I work my way back towards the other end, pushing out air to make sure that it's ready to go next time, whether I should decide to hang from trees or whether I should decide to go to the ground again. Here I take down the ridge line and the tent pole support, the trekking pole support. And my system here is to figure 8 the line after I tuck the Z cup, tent cup, back into the sleeve. I figure 8 the line. Back and forth, cross my fingers so it doesn't get tangled. And then I attach it and double it and put it into the middle of the roll, and then start to roll the tarp on it. So it's all contained within the center of the tarp. I roll and fold the tarp towards the opposite end, forcing the air out, getting it as tight as can be. This is one of the downfalls of Cuban fiber tarps, is that they do take up a little bit more room. They're lightweight, but they don't compress as easy as cell nylon. Then I reverse the process at this end, taking the trekking pole down, pulling the tent stake, ridge line tent stake. However, with this ridge line, I do not figure 8 it, but instead wrap it around the whole bundle of tarp. This will hold the snakeskin tarp together and make it easier to push into a stuffed sack. Again, this is a Cuban fiber sleeve. I plan on trading it out for a mesh skin sleeve because I have noticed when it rains or when the tarp is wet that the Cuban fiber sleeve holds water and increases the weight. If I have a mesh skin or sleeve on it, I don't have to put it into the Cuban fiber stuff sack. I can just put it on the outside of my pack and hopefully get some drying. Now that that's done, I'm starting to account for the tent poles and tarp pegs and tent stakes. And I've lost one, so I'm now trying to rediscover it. Not following a system can cause problems. You can see I'm kind of happy about locating it. And I put it in the pile with the others. Now I start dealing with the tangled reflectics because I didn't follow my own rule. This is normally the way I do it, one at a time. I wrap the reflectics around the stake, which does take some time. But if I spend a little time here now, I save a little time later on when I go to deploy it. And it's a system I have for effectively putting up and taking down the tarp, whether it's hanging between two trees or whether it's set up as ground shelter. I broke the rule for this video and now I know better. The nice thing about a Dutch hook is that you can use the hook itself to sort of loop back around and back up onto itself and clip so that the line doesn't come undone. It stays put so that when I drop all of these stakes and shepherd hooks into my Z-Packs tent sack, they all slide in nice and easy, and everything will be gathered together and placed into the Cuban fiber stuff sack. The tarp tent will be ready whether I decide to go to the ground again or to use it as a hammock tarp hung between two trees. Hope you enjoyed the video.